Hello and welcome to Life and Fight of a podcast. This is a UKFC MMA fighter edition. My name's Jake Cross from Empire Grappling and president of UK Fighting Championships. I'm joined today by UKFC Flyweight and number one contender in Zack Fry. How's it going, Zack?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Getting there, pal. Keeping as sane as possible. So we'll introduce you. We'll get a few details out just for the public so they can get to know you more, or people might know you anyway. So you just confirm you're 21 years old, just off air. You fluctuate between bantamweight and flyweight, but you want to stick to the flyweight division now as much as possible. Yeah. You knew you were still growing, but your weight settled down now, so you want to stick to flyweight. Let's start right at the beginning then. Obviously, we know we spoke to your brother, and we've known your brother for quite a few years in Corey Fry, but what got you into the sport? Was it him? Was it something else?
Yeah, it was Corey at first. He was going down, and I had no interest in it. I was playing football, and then one day, he just said to me, come down. So I went down. I did one of the beginner sessions, and then I never looked back since.
So when was that? How old was you then?
I was about 14 years old.
Wow, so 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
And what made you stick to it? What was it that appealed?
I don't have a clue. I just did one of the beginner sessions, and I picked it up straight away, just really quick, and then from there, I never looked back. I quit football. I quit playing any other sports, and I just did MMA full time.
So I remember, it feels like yesterday, but it's not. Just over 3 years ago, you did make your debut. Obviously, there was up in the air regarding change of rule set, and your first opponent was Lewis McGrillen.
Yeah.
Obviously, this was under, I think it was amateur C rules with shin guards in the end, it turned out to be. So it was a bit, you weren't prepared for shin guards.
No.
It's just what it was. And you had a debut. So what would you have been there? 17 maybe? A bit younger? What would you have been?
I think 16, 17,
16.
Something like that, yeah.
So major debut, but you've been around, you've been training for quite a long time, but you come up against someone just as good as you at that age in Lewis McGrillen. He gets the win over you. What's your thought process one stepping into cage? What made you make that decision? And then obviously coming off a loss in your debut, what was it like for you?
It felt mint stepping in there, but just going in there, I didn't feel like I was in a fight at all. I just felt like I was in the gym. I didn't feel like I was in a fight at all.
So was there any nerves or?
No nerves at all. Just the rule set, and everything that went on. I just didn't feel like I was in a fight at all. Just couldn't get going.
Couldn't get out of first gear. Then we go 6 months into the future. So this is June 2017 now. You face Lewis McGrillen and UK Fighting Championships 4. Unanimous decision win. What was it like to get your first win? How did you feel like it was fighting on a big stage like in the Guildhall at UKFC?
Yeah, I trained my ass off for that fight. Originally, I was going to fight at bantamweight, but I had a pull out, and then he stepped in about maybe 8 weeks before, and then I knew I was fighting a southpaw. I'm southpaw, so I knew I had something to look forward to, someone to focus on, and I knew I was fighting him, so it felt a mint stepping in there. I trained my ass off for it. It felt good stepping in there, yeah.
So you're now one-on-one as an amateur. This is summer 2017. You think, right, I'm on a roll now. You get straight back in there. UKFC 5, October 2017, against the unknown, really, in Darius Gooding. Looking back, quite an unknown, wild sort of character in the fact that the way he fights can throw you off a little bit in fact your game plan. Do you think that affected you a lot? Obviously, it didn't go your way, the fight. Obviously, I feel like, if I remember rightly, the beginning of the fight, you were controlling it, but then something kind of changed and he caught you. What went through your head in that fight?
Oh, mate. In that fight, I think my head went on it like 3 weeks before the fight. I was going on night, so I weren't training properly. My head went on it properly, and I paid for it, but I know if I was to fight him now, it'd be completely different. I'd smash him.
One thing I have just remembered, the names now come back to me. Lewis was the gentleman where his girlfriend passed away and they managed to bomb him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, you knew, let's touch back on that fight. You knew going into this fight that this was going to play on your head, so maybe it's playing on your head. And it's kind of like a double whammy. Is that you want to get the W, but then someone that's still willing to step in weeks after his girlfriend has died in the Manchester bombing. What's going through your head at that point?
Rob said to me about 2-3 weeks before the fight, he said, your opponent's girlfriend, she's passed away in the MEN bombing, and I was like, I don't want to fight him. I said, I don't want to fight him. Get me anyone, I'll fight anyone. Get me any opponent, flyweight or bantamweight, I'll fight them. I don't want to fight him. Like, I didn't want to fight him at all. And then Rob said to me, no, he still wants to fight. He wants to fight you. So I didn't really have an option but to fight him. But I didn't want to fight him at all. But I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah, going into, obviously I spoke to Lewis as well. He wanted to just keep his head screwed on. He wanted to fight for her as well. And I don't think it was about the win in the end for him. I think it was more about just getting in there and stepping in. And there's a touching moment, and I know you've used it for your profile picture on your Instagram and Facebook, whatever it is, where you're more or less hugging and you're speaking to him after the fight. And I think it's before the decision's even been announced, that obviously how thankful you are to each other for taking the fight. What was that? Obviously, because you're 17 at the time and he's young as well. How does that affect you? Obviously, you're early on in your fighting career. What after that fight finishes? What are the emotions you're going through?
Just straight away, as soon as we stood up, I knew I won the fight, but straight away I just hugged him and I said, "Thank you for taking the fight. Like, I'm sorry for your loss and stuff. Like, it wasn't about winning the fight for me, but it was just so much respect to him, because if I went through what he went through, I definitely wouldn't have been fighting."
It's weird. You try and put yourself in their shoes, and if you've never been through anything like that, your first reaction is your head would fall off. You wouldn't even be able to think about it. So props to Lewis. I've not really seen much of him since. I don't know whether that was his one and only fight. I think it was, if I remember rightly. I think he's got other passions in his life now, which is each their own. He's been through a lot, and you just kind of do what your head feels right. But after that, like we've just spoke about, Darius Goodin, you're 1-2, but you're still young, you're still learning. I feel like knowing you for so long, your best, and I was like this as well, your best characteristics you train best in the gym and you fight best in the gym. It's your comfort zone. I've seen videos, I spoke to Corey, I spoke to Rob, your coach, and others, where you say that you're unstoppable in the gym, but then when you step in the cage, especially the early fights, something just wasn't there. But then we step into Chris Middleton, UKFC 8, so you've had around about a year off at this point. You've trained your ass off, and you're ready to get back in there. And Chris Middleton, you finish him, TKO. What was it like to get that W, get that finish after a year of training so hard to sort of switch your mentality?
Well, the fight before me, he fought one of my teammates called Dennis, and he beat Dennis on decision. And then straight after that fight, I said to Rob, like, I want him, I want that fight. I knew it'd be a tough fight, and I knew it'd be something to work my ass off for, so I thought, I want to fight him. So I took the fight, I trained my ass off, and I was like, in my fights, I hadn't even shown 30% of what I'm capable of. I hadn't even shown 30% yet of what I'm capable of. What I'm like in the gym, I know I'm up there with the best flyweights in the country. So I'm starting to show it now as well. And then I got the win over him, and it felt good, starting to show my levels.
So I've said this a few times in an interview. So normally around October, November time, Christmas hits, everyone has a break. There's no real events on. So you return UKFC 9, which was just over a year ago. That was against Tom Melody. So going off a win of Chris Middleton, what's going through your head on that Christmas period? Is it keeping your head on, keeping as strict as possible, or did you have a bit of a break before that?
No, straight back in the gym. On the Monday, I went straight back in the gym. Fought on the Saturday, back in the gym Monday. Back grafting, and then just like everyone does, has a bit of fun over Christmas, and then soon as it's January again, I'll back grafting. So
this brings us to March. Tom Melody, you finished this one by rear naked choke, so 2 back-to-back finishes. You can tell you're coming leaps and bounds. The confidence is there. What's going through your head at this point? You're on a run. Chris Middleton, you're avenging a loss from a teammate. You finish him. Then you think, right, I'm going to step up again. Tom Melody, you're finishing by rear naked choke. So you get in each finish that you want, submission, and then, TKO, then submission. What's going through your head? Do you feel like you're becoming more well-rounded and confident at this point?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm just starting to show what I'm capable of and showing my levels. Like in the fights before, I knew that I just weren't being me. I weren't showing what I'm capable of. And then after the Chris Middleton fight, I just knew like my time to start showing my levels. And then with the Tom Melody fight as well, I think I beat him in something like a minute, and then it's been going on from there, showing my levels now. Yeah.
Then we get to building up towards June 2019. You are matched at that point with Jake Jenks. I think you remember rightly, you got a slight injury and you had to withdraw, which is not something you like to do. So Jake fought someone else on that event, but it's something that you still wanted. You still wanted that Jake Jenks fight. He wanted that fight, so we repaired it up. Actually, I think we tried to match up again, but it didn't work out for the end of the year. So I think we did it for 7 weeks ago, 29th of February 2020. I must say that was the most well-rounded performance I've seen by you against Jake Jenks. Confidence, it was dominating from start to finish. And Jake Jenks is no slouch. He hits hard. He can take a shot. He's got good submission defense. He's got good wrestling. What was it like stepping up a gear towards someone like Jake and facing him before you even, obviously, you're confident going in for the win and you got the win, but what was your thought process going into a fight like that?
Well, when I was originally going to fight him, I just quit my job. I weren't happy with my job. I quit it, and I wanted to take MMA serious, so I started doing MMA full time, started doing personal training, and I was absolutely smashing it, and I couldn't wait to fight him. And then when I was sparring, I broke my hand, so I was so frustrated, and I knew I wanted that fight because it would propel me to where I want to be. And then I broke my hand, so I had to sit out. That's why I wanted to fight again. So then when I got the fight rebooked with him, I just trained my ass off again, and I just know that I'm completely different level to half of these flyweights, and it's shown in the fight. And I even fought him at bantamweight. I'm not a bantamweight.
Yeah, I think from memory, you came in at like 50 or late 50s kilograms, 59 or something like that.
59 or something. Like I'm not even a bantamweight, and I walk through him with ease.
So when you get that win, you're signaling for the title shot. His teammate is the champion in Lewis McGrillen.
Yeah.
That's next. It was announced for May 23rd. Obviously, that event won't go ahead now because of the lockdown we're in and the pandemic. Obviously, that's unfortunate because you're on such a roll right now. And he wants that fight. He wants to avenge his teammate. You've called him out. You just thought that Blackburn Predators have got Manchester top team's number, all that sort of stuff. And obviously, you're posting things that you're keeping ready even in this lockdown.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you are going to pick apart in Lewis's game plan? What's making you so confident you'll take that belt from him?
What I've got to lose is ranked fifth in the country. Like, I'm nothing to lose. I'm only here to fight the best. I'm only amateur. I want to fight the best flyweights out there. And he's one of them, and he's got the UKFC title, and that's what I've always wanted. So that's it. I'm just coming for that title. I know he's a good wrestler, but I just think he's a bit scrappy stood up, and I just think he's a bit desperate when he gets caught with the shots. But I just don't think he's on my level neither. That's why I want this fight. I just want to fight the best flyweight.
How do you see the fight going? Do you see if you're finishing him?
I'm not bothered. If it's a 5-round fight, then I'm happy with that. I know how good my cardio is. I'm ready for a 5-round fight. No, sorry, 3-5.
5 freeze.
Yeah, 5 freeze. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for that, and I'm ready for a war. But if I get the finish, I get the finish. I feel like my jits will be too much for him. I feel like my stand up's too much for him. But I do know he's a solid wrestler. But it don't faze me at all.
So whenever that fight is, obviously when we get the okay to do events again, hoping it'll be around October time for UKFC, give or take, might be early, might be later, depending on everything that's going on. That's the fight we're all looking forward to. I think it's styles make fights, and I feel like your how tall you are and your range, your ability right now, and the momentum you're on is a good test for someone like Lewis, who is one of the he came through the ranks and quite quickly. He fought a bit like you. He fought often. He fought the talent there, and then he got the ISFC belt. He got the UKFC belt in a great 5-round fight against a great jiu-jitsu guy. So he's definitely got all the tools to beat you, but then, like you say, you've got all the tools to beat him. So I think
Yeah,
it could be a
100%.
5-round war, or one of you could catch each other, and that's one thing I think makes
Yeah.
it so interesting to watch. So hopefully that's what's next. That's what comes up. Nothing puts us in the way of that. It's just time now. That's the only real thing. Well, let's touch on you, just like we did with Corey last week. What's been going on since the lockdown? What's changed? How are you keeping active?
Just doing my usual thing. I'm going on runs, going on bike rides, training with my brother. Nothing's really changed too much, but other than not being able to train with my teammates and work, other than that, nothing's changed much. I'm still grafting.
You said that you've now moved in with Corey, your brother. Obviously,
Yeah,
he's about to turn pro. What made you take that decision, both of you?
because I was sat at home and I was losing my head. I had nothing to do. Just sat at home training by myself, shadow boxing, doing a bit of weights and stuff, and I started losing my head. So my brother said, "Move in with me now before the lockdown goes on any longer." And it was a good move because we're swapping each other now.
How's actually dealing with all that? Dealing with all male testosterone in the house?
I know, yeah. She's been sound with it. She's told me to move in. She's told me to move in. It's been good for me and Corey, both less stressed, just both getting to train together. It's quality.
I guess another pair of helping hands around the house as well.
Definitely.
So, I know we spoke to Corey last week, and he's turning pro. What's
Yeah,
you've sort of, obviously being younger than him, you're sort of following behind him, which is normal for a
yeah,
younger brother.
definitely,
So
definitely.
he's gone for the amateur ranks, won the UKFC title, a dominating streak. I think he was champion for more or less 2 years.
Yeah,
You now want that belt. How much would that mean for you and both of you, for both us, even though it's different points, to wear a UKFC belt?
yeah. It means a lot to me. It's one of the best shows in the country. If you fought there or you've been to the show, you know yourself how good the show is. And I've always wanted to fight for that title ever since I first fought on the show, just over 3 years ago or whatever it was. I've always wanted that flyweight title, and now's my time. That's why I want that belt. Yeah.
Good to hear. So he's turning pro. You're fighting for a belt, so both high level, which is next.
Yeah.
What do you think you can bring to Corey to help him in that pro transition?
I just every day, just non-stop. We just grafters. We both graft. If you've seen us in the gym, you know how hard we work together. And I've done this sport now for 6-7 years. Like I said, I ain't even shown 50% of my skill in that cage yet. I've got so much to offer, and people are going to start seeing what I've got to bring to the table.
So apart from, even you can answer as before you moved in with Corey, what was your normal day-to-day routine? Was you doing anything different because you had more time? Was you gaming? Was you watching Netflix? That's what the answer seems to be. What was you doing with your time?
Yeah, I was watching a bit of Netflix, watching stuff like Money Heist, and then other than that, I don't really play the Xbox and stuff. I'm out running, I'm out on a bike, or I'm doing some shadow boxing or some weights or something. I don't sit on Xboxes and stuff. I'm always in the gym training.
So we'll touch on your coach, Rob Friedman. Obviously, knew Rob for years.
Yeah.
Great guy. What do you feel like he brings to the table for you as a fighter climbing through the ranks? What's he like for you as a coach and as a mentor? That's I know a word that a lot of people in the gym use towards him.
I couldn't ask for a better coach. He's a quality coach. He puts in so much time into me every morning. We're training together. He's so much to offer. His ground game's unbelievable. His stand-up's good. His wrestling's good. He's got so much to offer me and bring to me. And I'm just thankful for him. He knows the right fights for me and the right fights to take, and it's starting to show now.
What sort of training partners do you have at Blackburn Predators? Is there anyone that you like to shout out to? People that you enjoy training with? People that feel like you elevate and they elevate you? Apart from obviously Corey and Rob.
Yeah, just everyone at the gym. Young Charlie's coming through.
Yeah,
he's one of my training partners. He's a big prospect. He's going to start climbing them ranks. He's quality. There's a few lads: Jacob Taylor, Hassan Hussein, Zach Miller. There's a few. They're all climbing the ranks, but there's a lot of young lads coming through. There's Charlie, like I said. There's Jimmy.
Jimmy Sadiq, yeah, Charlie Flanagan, yeah.
There's Tayu. All the youngers that are coming through at the moment. They're all climbing the rank. They're all going to be quality, mate. You're going to see them in the next couple of years climbing them ranks, mate.
I guess because you're sort of now Corey's moving to the pro rank, you're sort of the leading amateur, along with maybe Hassan at Blackburn Predators. You get that title later that year. You win that title. I guess that puts you as sort of. They probably already look up to you anyway, them being so young, but I guess that's sort of something for them to aspire to. Now Corey's moving to the pro ranks, which obviously the fights will get even harder than he's already had. And his career is stacked, like we discussed last week. Like, he's fought the who's who of amateur, who are now becoming the who's who of the pro ranks. What do you feel like that's a big pressure on your shoulders being looked up to like that, or do you thrive on that?
I thrive on that. There's no pressure at all for me. I've nothing to lose. I'm fighting the 5th rank in the country, who's got a UKFC title on one of the best shows in the UK. There's no nerves or anything there for me at all. It's just grateful for the opportunity, and it's just something for the youngest to look up to see how hard I've worked to get to where I am.
Sweet. So before we sort of tail down to the end of the interview now, so is there any words that you want to pass on to Lewis? Anything going from the fight is finally booked again?
Yeah, just thanks for taking the fight. I appreciate it. I'm fighting one of the best in the country, and I'm coming to take what's mine, yeah.
So I've got some quick fire questions for you here, pal. Similar to what we asked Corey and stuff. So number 1, ketchup or brown sauce?
Ketchup.
Mayonnaise or salad cream?
Mayonnaise.
A city break or beach holiday?
Beach holiday.
Xbox or PlayStation?
I say Xbox.
When you eat, fork in your left hand or your right hand?
Left hand. I'm a lefty.
I am too. It should be in your left hand anyway. Do you prefer a shower or a bath?
Shower.
Gi or no gi?
No gi.
Do you prefer a submission victory or a knockout?
I've had 2 submissions. I say a knockout, yeah. I want a knockout.
Would you prefer a war or a quick finish?
A war, yeah.
And then the infamous one, Anderson Silva or George St. Pierre?
GSP, yeah.
GSP. It's very, very mixed, that one. It does question it. So before we end it, like, anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, anything like that?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone down at Blackburn Predators. I want to thank the lads down at ASW Manchester. I want to thank my sponsors, Pitbull Westport. Who else have I got? I need to thank Adam Grogan, Jag Scaffolding. Anyone needs a scaffolding doing, give him a shout. Who else is there? Andy Probert for his air conditioning. And who else is there? Oh, and Hartley Nutrition for all my nutrition.
Amazing. So if people want to follow your career going forward, Zach, if they don't already, how can they find you on Instagram and social media?
On Instagram, Zack Fry 123. On Facebook, Zack Fry.
Sweet. Thanks for your time, pal. I'll do the tag for your Instagram on the bio anyway when we release this shortly. But yeah, keep in touch. Stay safe, and we'll speak soon.
Nice one, mate. Thank you.
Legend.
Bye.
Nice one, pal.